Hi, Jim Dawson here. Welcome to Everyday Mindfulness. In this introductory video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what mindfulness is. Then, in the videos to come later, I'll talk about the benefits and I'll share with you some really effective techniques and exercises that will allow you to bring mindfulness into your daily life. Mindfulness is very popular, but it's been around for thousands of years. It has its roots in Zen Buddhism, but it's not a religious practice. This is one of the key benefits. It means that it can be enjoyed by absolutely anybody, whether you have faith or not. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing your awareness to the present moment. What's so important about the present moment? Well, it's the only moment in time that actually exists, the only moment that you have to enjoy being alive. The past has gone. We can't change anything that's happened in the past. We can't unsay anything that's been said. We can't do anything differently because it's all in the past. And the future, well, the future hasn't happened yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We can make plans about what we might like to happen in the future, but those plans come from the present moment. A lot of stress and anxiety is caused by people worrying about and being distracted by the things that have happened in the past or things that may happen in the future. And because we spend a lot of time being distracted by the past or the future, we don't spend our present moment, our awareness in the present and actually enjoy being alive. For example, I'm sure many of you drive a car or have been a passenger in a car. And how often have you got into the car at point A, arrived at your destination, point B, got out of the car and thought, you know what, I can't remember a single thing that happened on that journey. Your mind was distracted the entire time. Now, not only is that incredibly dangerous if you're driving a car, but it means that you weren't immersed in the present moment. You weren't aware. Now imagine if that was like your life, and you're born at point A, and you arrive at the final destination, point B, the end of the journey that is your life. Wouldn't it be sad if you looked back and thought, you know, I don't remember a single thing about that journey. I was completely distracted the entire time. But if you bring mindfulness into your life, when you reach that final destination, you'll be able to look back and know that you lived a life and you enjoyed life. And that's hopefully what you'll be able to learn through watching the videos in this course. By bringing mindfulness into your life regularly, you'll be able to stop and experience life so that when you do reach that final destination, you won't feel that you missed any of it or were distracted by it. It's important to remember that we're human beings. We're not human thinkings, we're not human doings, we're human beings. And yet, we seem to be conditioned to believe that we must always be thinking something or always doing something. And if we're not always thinking or always doing, then we're wasting our time. But it's okay to sometimes just be a human being. To sit and just be alive is not a waste of time. So, I look forward to seeing you in the next video when I'll talk a bit more about some of the benefits, and I'll see you soon. Hi, Jim Dawson again. In this video, I'm going to talk a bit about some of the benefits that you can enjoy by bringing mindfulness into your life. As I mentioned in the introduction, mindfulness is the practice of being in the present moment, bringing your awareness to this moment in time, because it's the only moment that you have to experience being alive. And one of the key benefits that people can enjoy by being more mindful is a reduction in stress and anxiety, because so much stress and anxiety is caused by worrying about and thinking about things that have happened in the past or those things that may happen in the future. Wishing that things had been different, wishing that we'd said things differently, but we can't. Here's a good example to illustrate that, and I'm sure it's something that many of you will have experienced. I certainly have myself. Imagine somebody said something that upset us yesterday or last week. How many times do we go over and over that conversation, thinking about what we could have said or should have said in that instance? And then we spend time thinking about what we're going to say to that person the next time we meet them. We plan out an entire script in our head. I'll say this, then they'll say that, then I can say this and they can say that. And we fine-tune the script, adjusting it, going over and over and over it. And as we do, we bring up all of that emotion again, and we suffer the same anxiety that we felt when we had that conversation with them that upset us the first time around. And then what happens when we meet that person again? We come out with the opening line that we practiced in our script, and then they say something completely differently because they don't know the script. This only exists in our head. They may come out and apologise straight away, say, "Oh, I'm sorry that I said that to you. I was completely out of order." And then you're completely thrown. And you think, no, you shouldn't be apologising to me now. I've got to go through this entire script first so that you're fully aware of exactly how upset I am before you apologise. And because conversations never go according to the script that we define in our heads, the act of doing that is a complete waste of time. The whole time we were doing that, we were distracted from the present moment. We were immersed in either going over what happened in the past or thinking about what might happen in the future. And we weren't in the moment. We weren't aware of the present moment. And so practicing mindfulness can help with that. By being mindful, it helps us to let go of the things that have happened so that we can accept them, not want them to be different, not wish things to have happened in a different way. And it also means that by bringing our awareness to the present moment, we don't give undue and unnecessary attention and energy to thinking about and going over situations that may happen in the future, because generally they don't go according to plan. They don't go according to the script that we set in our own heads. What are some of the other benefits? Well, again, in the introduction I mentioned the fact that even though mindfulness has its roots in Zen Buddhism, it's not a religious practice. So anybody can bring mindfulness into their lives, whether you have faith, whether you're agnostic, whether you're an atheist, whether you're a Muslim, a Sikh, a Christian, it doesn't matter. You can still enjoy mindfulness and living and practicing the art of being aware of the present moment. Another key benefit, certainly that I have found from practicing mindfulness, is that your communication skills become so much more effective and efficient. Because you're not bringing judgments to the conversations that you have. You're not distracted by conversations that you had in the past. You're not bringing judgments. Oh, this person's always like that. They're always miserable. They're always perhaps grumpy towards me, or they might be difficult people. We lose those judgments. And so when we meet with people and we talk to them, the conversation is based on the present moment, and you're much more likely to listen. You're not distracted by conversations that you've had in the past. You're aware. You're watching their body language. You're listening to what they say, and you are responding appropriately to the things that are said in that moment. And again, you're not overly concerned with what the final outcome may be. It means that the dialogue you have is so much more effective and meaningful and potent. That's a good word that I like to use. Your communication becomes much more potent. You can be much more persuasive. And it also opens you up to opportunities. If you're mindful, then you're aware. And when there are opportunities presented to you, you're aware of those opportunities and you're able to take advantage of them. Great benefits are had by working with other people, finding the right people to work with, exploring ideas with other people, sharing ideas, communicating. And if you're mindful, if you shake yourself free of any judgments from the past that you may bring to your conversations, if you're immersed in the present moment, then those opportunities to explore ideas, those opportunities to forge meaningful relationships will be greatly improved. And the relationships you have with those closest to you will improve. With your loved ones, your partners, your family, your friends, because you can communicate so much more effectively. Those relationships will improve. But the principal benefit for me is that you will be able to enjoy life. You will experience life. You won't look back when you reach the final destination in the journey of your life and think, oh, I don't remember anything that happened there, because you were immersed in it the whole time. There's a bit of a misconception that mindfulness is some hippie practice where, whatever happens, man. It really doesn't matter. I'll just go with the flow. But that's not the case at all. Mindfulness is about being active, immersing yourself in life, getting involved, engaged, enjoying it. So tune in for the next video when I'm going to start exploring some techniques and some exercises that will enable you to be more mindful and then to enjoy some of the benefits that I've spoken about in this video. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Hi, it's Jim again. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the breath. Your breath is critical to mindful practice, principally because your breath happens in the present moment. You can't breathe in the past, you can't breathe in the future. Each breath happens absolutely in the present moment. And it's very easy to bring your awareness to your breath, to be aware of breathing in and breathing out. And in doing that, transport your awareness right to the present moment and what's happening in this moment. So let's start by looking at the breath itself. We think of it in terms of two parts, breathing in and then breathing out. So just try that with me now. Breathe in, then breathe out, and as soon as you've finished breathing out, begin to breathe in again. So we breathe in, breathe out, in, out. Okay. Now you may have noticed, if you breathe like that, it actually feels a little forced. It doesn't feel natural. We want it to feel natural. It's far better to think or to breathe in terms of a triangle. So we start down here and we breathe in, going up one side of the triangle to the top. We breathe out, descending down to the other corner, and then along the bottom there is a pause. There is a pause that happens between breathing out and before you breathe in again. So just try that now. Follow the triangle round, breathing in, breathing out, and then pausing between breaths. Let's go. Good. Now what do you notice happens in the bottom of the triangle? What happens in that pause between breaths? Absolutely nothing. There is stillness. Your body is still, and because your awareness is focused entirely on the breath, your mind is still. And so that pause between your breaths is a moment of absolute stillness. In that pause between breaths, you're just being. You're not doing anything, you're not thinking anything. In that stillness, in that peace, you're just being. And you can enjoy that. And that pause comes around again and again and again. And it's always with you. Whatever you are doing, that pause is always with you. So try that again now. And this time, really follow each aspect of the breath. Be aware of breathing in and the air entering your body. Be aware of breathing out and the air leaving your body. And then aware of that pause. Acutely and absolutely aware of the stillness that exists in that pause between your breath. Let's go. Good. And when you're practicing this, don't try and force it. Just breathe naturally and notice what happens. Notice and be aware of what happens to your breath as you maintain your awareness on it. You'll be aware of it slowing. Don't try and make that pause longer or shorter than it needs to be. Just enjoy the stillness within it. Now this is a fantastic exercise to do to develop mindful practice. You can sit and you can follow your breath and be aware of your breathing for a lengthy period of time. You can do it for 20 minutes, half an hour. Or you can do it in short bursts. You can bring your awareness to your breath regularly and frequently throughout the day. Just taking 2 or 3 mindful breaths brings you instantly to the present moment. So chaos may be exploding around you, but your breath is still with you, and that pause between breaths is still with you, even when everything is kicking off around you. So start the day before you even raise your head from the pillow, and take 2 or 3 mindful breaths to root yourself in the present moment at the start of the day, and then do that regularly all throughout the day. Just 2 or 3 breaths taken mindfully will bring your awareness to the present moment. And if you can dedicate 20 minutes or 30 minutes to just mindful breathing, that's a very valuable exercise to do as well. Now while you are breathing mindfully, you'll notice your mind wander. If you sit for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you'll notice that after a short period of time your mind will begin to wander. Thoughts and ideas will creep into your head. Don't worry about this, it's natural. Your brain generates 50,000 thoughts every single day. It's what brains do. The art of mindful practice is acknowledging and being aware of and accepting, first and foremost, that your mind has wandered, and then bringing your awareness back to the breath or to whatever it is that you're holding in your awareness. So I would encourage you, firstly, connect with your breath frequently throughout the day, as often as you can, and make time to sit, be aware of the breath, and notice when your mind has wandered, and bring the awareness back, bring the attention back to your breath, because the more times you do that, the easier it will become and the less likely you are to be distracted. And it prevents that distraction from taking over, the distraction that happens by being concerned with what happened in the past or what may happen in the future. Bring your awareness to the present moment, and that distraction subsides. So thanks for watching this one. I'm going to come back with another video about breath after this, and we'll look at a different aspect to it and a different exercise. But I'd encourage you now to go and practice. Practice maintaining awareness of the breath, and practice bringing that attention back to the breath when your mind wanders. So thank you, and I'll see you again soon. Hi. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the breath. So in the previous one, we looked at how your breath is composed of 3 parts. We breathe in, we breathe out, and then there is a pause in between. And I invited you to just sit and breathe mindfully and be aware of the breath, aware of each of those 3 aspects to the breath, and to treat that as a mindful exercise. In this video, I'm going to run through another approach that you can take to becoming aware of the breath. And in this one, we're going to follow the breath at different points. So our breath starts at the nostrils when we breathe in, and then it moves down, all the way down to the base of our breath, down at the diaphragm. And we can follow our awareness of the breath at various points along that journey. So, make yourself comfortable. You can close your eyes if you wish. You don't have to. But begin by just starting to be aware of the breath at the nostrils. Just following each breath as it happens, breathing in and breathing out, following the air as it enters and leaves the body at this point here at the nostrils. Good. Now you can move your awareness backwards, and you can become aware of the breath at the back of the throat, in the neck. You can feel the air hitting the back of the soft palate. Good. And now move the awareness down a little bit further to the top of the chest. And here you can begin to become aware of the movement of your body as well. As you breathe in, your chest rises and expands. And then as you breathe out, it relaxes and descends. So for the next few breaths, just follow that movement. Be aware of that movement in the chest as it rises and falls. Again, following each breath as it happens. Then shift the awareness all the way down to the bottom. Be aware of the breath, the diaphragm, the base of your breathing, and again connect with the movement. So for the next few breaths, follow the movement down at the bottom. Then finish by connecting it all together, following the breath as it goes in at the nostrils all the way down to the base of the lungs and then all the way back out again. Bring your attention to that pause. the pause that happens between each breath. Allow yourself to relax into that pause, become aware of the stillness. And if your mind wanders while you're doing this, doesn't matter. Just bring the attention back to the breath. Good. Now that exercise, as with the previous one, you can do it in a short burst, or you can lengthen it. You can spend 20 minutes, half an hour with a focused period at each point. Spend a few minutes aware of the breath at the nostrils, then at the back of the throat, top of the chest, and then down to the diaphragm. Always bringing the attention back to the breath if the mind wanders, and paying particular attention to that pause. Just allowing it to happen, allowing yourself to relax into the breath, relax into the pause, and allowing yourself to enjoy just being. Not thinking, not doing, just being. So practice that yourself over the course of the next few days, and I'll look forward to seeing you for the next video. Thank you. Hi, it's Jim. Welcome back. In the previous videos we looked at how you can develop and cultivate your awareness of your breath. And that's very much about beginning to connect with what's happening internally. Mindfulness is about cultivating awareness of what's happening inside and also what's happening externally. So whilst you will want to be able to become more mindful of what's happening with your emotions and what's happening with your thoughts, the real way that you're going to be able to do that is to be able to notice where your mind becomes distracted, where your mind wanders to, in order to be able to see what thought processes are getting in the way of being in the moment. So that's part of that practice that I've encouraged you to do. This next exercise that I'm going to share with you is about how you can connect with what's happening externally, what's happening around you. And the way that we receive information about what's happening in the outside world is via our senses. And so in this exercise, we're going to connect with our senses one at a time. So make yourself comfortable. It's best to begin by practicing this sitting down. So make yourself comfortable in a chair. And when you're ready, we'll begin. So we start by what we can see. And to begin with, we just have a look around. We see what we can see in this moment in time, connecting with our vision. So do that now, have a look around. And you're really just taking in shapes, colours, visual textures. This isn't about identifying objects and labelling objects. Being mindful isn't about applying labels to things, it's about just being aware of things as they are. So you're just looking, just seeing. And when you've had a look around, you may close your eyes if you wish, and you can turn your attention to what you can feel. So begin by becoming aware of the fact that you have a head. You can feel your head resting upon your neck, and your neck connected to your shoulders. And what's quite nice at this point is to become aware of any tension that you may be holding in the neck and the shoulders. And in becoming aware of it, just allowing it to release. And that release of any tension can enable you to then become aware of the spine and the pull of gravity down through the spine. So your back may be in contact with the back of the chair. You can be aware of the pressure there against the back of the chair, and aware of your bottom pressing into the seat. So gravity pulling down through your body, down through the spine, and your bottom pressing into the seat. You can become aware of your arms and your hands and the position that you are holding those in. And then aware of your legs, the position of your legs, bend at the knee, all the way down to your feet being in contact with the floor. Now become aware of the clothes against your skin, on your arms, your chest, your legs. And then become aware of the very faint movement of air. So you can particularly feel this on your hands, but also maybe on your face. It's very faint, but as you shift your awareness to that, you can actually detect the air moving across your skin. And now take a breath through the nose and connect with your sense of smell. And you're not trying to smell anything in particular, you're just becoming aware of smell in this moment. And then taste. Connect with the taste that is in your mouth at this moment in time. Then finally you can begin to listen. So for the next few moments, just be aware of sound as it happens. And as you listen, as we did before when we were connecting with our breath, if your mind wanders while you are listening, it doesn't matter. Just acknowledge that your mind has wandered and bring the attention back to just listening. Good. And you'll notice that gradually you can extend the field of your hearing wider and wider, and you're just allowing sound to happen. So that exercise that we've just done there, as with the breathing, you can practice that for a lengthy period of time. You can spend a few minutes focused on each of the individual senses, working your way through and just taking a few minutes to connect with each one and to be aware of each one. What you can see, what you can feel, smell, taste, and then sound. And the sound, it's good to stretch that out. Spend quite a few minutes just listening to sound as it happens. But as I often encourage people to do, in terms of connecting with the present moment frequently, yes, mindfulness is about sitting and being mindful for a period of time, 20 minutes, half an hour. But with your senses, you can have opportunity to connect with those all throughout the day. Whatever it is you may be doing, you can connect with your senses. So when you're in the shower in the morning, you're in the shower. There's nothing to be thinking about. There's nothing to be doing apart from getting clean. So you can actually tune into your senses and be aware of what it feels like for the water to be dripping down onto you. The feel of the soap and the shampoo as you wash your hair, the smell, the sound. If you're walking to the shop to buy a newspaper or some milk, you can connect with your senses. You can be aware of what it feels like to walk, the sounds that are all around you, the things that you can see, without labelling them, just being aware of them. So yes, practice this exercise seated for a period of time, but also aim to connect with your senses frequently, all throughout the day, just for small snippets, because that will root you, ground you in the present moment, and you'll dwell there for a while, and you will become more able to spend time in the present. Now, when I learned that exercise 20 odd years ago, it was at a practical philosophy class, and the teacher that was running the class would encourage us to perform that exercise on a daily basis. And every week we'd go back to class and she would ask us how we got on, whether we'd done the exercise every day. And there were some people that would say, oh, well, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get any peace and quiet. They were workmen outside digging up the road and it was too noisy and I just couldn't sit. And the teacher would say, well, you're missing the point. It doesn't matter what is going on around you. It's about connecting with those sounds, being aware of them, allowing them to happen, accepting the fact that a lot of this is outside of your control. So it isn't about peace and quiet and getting away from it. That's one of the misconceptions about mindfulness. People think that it's about removing yourself from the world and finding some peace and quiet, but it isn't. It's about immersing yourself in the world, engaging in the world, being aware of everything that is happening around you. So even if there are workmen with pneumatic drills outside your door, digging up the road, making a whole racket, it doesn't matter. Just accept it and be aware of it, because that is what is happening in that moment. And if you can do that, if you are able to accept that and be aware of it, then you're being mindful. You're in the present. It's when we become frustrated by that we are not being mindful, because we are wishing things to be different. We are looking forward to the point in time when that noise stops. We're projecting into the future, and that's not mindful. So, practice the exercises, practice engaging your senses. Do it all the time, every day. If you can sit for 20 minutes and half an hour and work through each of those steps, then great. But at the very least, aim to connect with your senses. Don't have to do all of them, just some of the senses, frequently, throughout the day. And you will be bringing mindfulness into your life. So take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Hi, Jim Dawson here, back with the final video from my course Everyday Mindfulness. And in this one, just want to summarise some of the things that I've spoken about in the previous videos. So just begin by saying that mindfulness is very powerful, it's incredibly simple, but it isn't easy. That's why you need to practice. Practice the breathing, connecting with your breath, practice connecting with your senses, and above all, practice bringing your awareness back to whatever it is you're focusing on when your mind wanders. When your mind becomes distracted by thoughts and ideas about the past and the future, noticing that that has happened and bringing it back. That's the true art of mindfulness, bringing it back when it's distracted. So remember, you're a human being. You're not a human doing, you're not a human thinking, you're a human being. Allow yourself some time and some space to just be. And do that by just being with your breath. Do that by just being with your senses and what you can be aware of. Do that by just being in the present moment. The only moment that you have to experience being alive. Being alive is an incredibly precious and beautiful thing. So I hope you've enjoyed the videos, I hope you've enjoyed this course, I hope you've taken something from it, There's loads more stuff out there that you can discover that will help you to develop your ability to be more mindful. So a few people that you should look at. Take a look at Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk who has a monastery in France. He's got lots of books that he's written. There are, should I say, videos of his on YouTube, courses that he's done. He's a fantastic speaker, an incredibly educated man, and just absolutely beautiful when it comes to talking about mindfulness and living in the moment. So look at Thich Nhat Hanh. There's also a lot of people, for example, Jon Kabat-Zinn. He was a pioneer. He developed the mindfulness-based stress reduction course. And he also has lots of books out there. There's lots of videos on YouTube. So have a look at Jon Kabat-Zinn and what he talks about. He talks a lot about acceptance. One other guy that I would recommend, Alan Watts. He was instrumental in bringing a lot of Eastern philosophy back across to the West. And he's a great exponent of mindful living. So look at Thich Nhat Hanh, read some Jon Kabat-Zinn books, and also read some Alan Watts books. And enjoy being mindful, enjoy living in the present, enjoy the benefits that you can gain from that. And remember, bring mindfulness into your daily life regularly and frequently. So thanks for watching. Share this with as many people as you can. Share this with all the people that you feel may benefit, and I'm sure I'll speak to you again soon. Thanks again. Bye.